Let's go. Let's go. This is episode 448. 448 episodes. Man, getting up there. The thousands just around the corner. Let's get right into it. Tucker Carlson is going to be talking about why he chose to be on Twitter. And also, Russell Brand ends up pushing harder than he did before. See, at the beginning of this whole interview, Russell Brand asked, what happened with Fox? And he let Tucker just give like a brief answer, and that was it. But Russell came back again, and he started listing off the reasons it could be, and he just really pushed back on the question. Like, why did you get fired? So, and with both of these clips together that I'm going to show you, I think it gives us a real read on what Tucker's going to be doing next. That's just my opinion from watching this interview so many times. But before I bring you to there, let me bring you to the store. This is IamCoachColin.com. Let me give you a quick tutorial of the website. We go to catalog. We go to America's Soul Not For Sale, and we check out the newest collection that we have. There are t-shirts for men and women, tank tops for men and women. Let's check it out. Let's see the sweet design. Bang! It's the Soul Not For Sale logo with the red, white, and blue atop of it. The stars and the stripes sitting so glorious. And if you want something else, let's say you want a more normal one, right? Because you're a communist. Kidding, of course. You can check out the regular Soul Not For Sale that we got here. Boom. The black and the white. The original. That's what we call this one. The original. The OG, as the kids would call it. And all of those shirts are on IamCoachColin.com. 10% off. This is what you do. This is what you do to get 10% off. In the discount code area, you put in I am Coach Colin. That gets you 10% off of any and all purchases that you make on the website. Now, it's all capital letters, all one word, one L in the colon, 10% off. You're very welcome. Now, let's get into this clip. The first clip. And then I'm going to play another one for you. 2 clips in this one. Do not forget. Like the episode. It helps so much. Let's go. Is this where I want to start it? Yep, perfect.
Figures like RFK and Trump already demonstrably through his successful use of Twitter are going to require new models of media in order to build an audience, whether or not you align with the views of those individuals. It's plain to see that the traditional media models curtail and censor their rhetoric. Why, when you left Fox News, I think, like, those of us that work in the independent media space all thought, Tucker's leaving, I even, if I may say, like, when we met, I was like, he's going to leave Fox. I felt like just because of your awareness and because of the stuff you were saying about the mainstream, the fact you're having Glenn Greenwald on there and people that
every week from his bunker in Rio. I love Glenn.
Yeah, he's a beautiful human being.
Yes,
he's no doubt a brilliant man. So we were all amongst us thinking, where will Tucker go? Is it going to be Tucker? Will he be joining us on Rumble? Will you set up your own thing? What was it about your conversations with Elon Musk that led you to work there on Twitter?
Well, I don't work for Elon. He's paid me zero money. I don't think I ever want to work for anyone again. I've done that. I'd like to make money. I mean, I think that's fair. I've made zero money since I left, and that's fine. But at some point I'd like to, but I'm not working for Elon Musk. He hasn't offered to hire me, and if he did, I wouldn't accept. But what he's done is offered me what he's offered every other user of Twitter, which is a chance to broadcast your views without a gatekeeper there. But I do think, I think the technology at Twitter is, my expectation, is evolving, and I think, the subscription model might work or it might not. I don't know, but I think it might. And I plan to stay there. But what social media offer in the short term, at least for me, is an audience, but also a reason, this is personal, but a reason to write. I can't think clearly without writing. I started in this business as a magazine writer and a book writer, newspaper writer, and I need to write things out. I'm very dyslexic and I can't, I have trouble processing information in certain ways. And unless I'm forced to write a script, I can't really decide what I think about something. And so the data
All right, so I just wanted to. I'm dyslexic as well. Look at that, coincidence. A lot of good people are dyslexic. You know, it's a huge problem in terms of making your life more structured. It's terribly hard. Now, when I talked about the things that give us a read on what Tucker wants to do, listen to what he said. First off, just outright calls it out. If Elon Musk offered him anything, second clip's on the way. Hold on a second. Just saying something real quick, and I have to just scoot over to that second clip. Like the video, it helps so much. We do this live on this channel, guys. But he wouldn't accept an offer from Elon. He doesn't want to work with anyone again because he's already done that. He knows what that's like. He wants to make money. Okay. And he's on Twitter right now, hasn't made any money yet. What does all that mean? I don't know. And I like that Russell Brand really called it out. He's like, you're obviously going to leave because everybody could see the awakening. I mean, when you're having RFK Jr. on, you're talking about the CIA murdering JFK. It's like, you've hit a different stratosphere. You're no longer a mainstream media journalist, you know? Can you imagine Anderson Cooper saying something like that? You'd be like, oh, he's getting fired tomorrow, right? Don Lemon or something like that, which he did get fired. Second clip, here it comes. Let's go.
That was in 2003. And so my views...
On your first qualifying order.
Humble. Fantastic there. Yeah, do join us if you can. We've got some fantastic questions still to come. Some of them sent in by you. Press the red button. Join us on Locals. Right now that we're deeply embedded in Rumble, why the hell did you leave Fox? Tell us the truth. What are you not permitted to say? Tell us. So do you think they sacked you because of Jan 6? Do you think they sacked you because you're too anti-establishment, too anti-war? Tell us.
I honestly don't know. I will say, my views changed dramatically over the course of 20 years. As I've said many times, I was a kind of half-hearted booster of the war in Iraq, which is hard to believe. But, that was in 2003. And so my views for the last 20 years have been, and I realized and I've repented of that, and I feel sick even thinking about it now. But my views have remained pretty much the same for the last 20 years. They've evolved, as things have changed. But in general, I've been skeptical of the storylines and all kinds of different things. And I certainly was for the 14 years I was at Fox. And they were always, they didn't agree with me, of course, I don't think. But they were always very nice to me, and they always let me say what I wanted. Not one time did they tell me not to say anything. So I was always grateful to Fox, and I am, in retrospect, grateful to Fox for that. So that never changed up until the moment they called me and said, we're taking the show off the air. And so I can only speculate. I know, but I do think as a general matter, not even about me, the war in Ukraine is a red line for a lot of people in business and politics. And you see it in our politics in the U.S., where the leaders of the Republican Party in the Congress, who really are repulsive, in my view, are now supporting sending cluster bombs to Ukraine. Ukraine is losing the war, obviously. The United States could, and Ukrainians are dying in huge numbers, and the country's being destroyed. And so the U.S. could force a peace like tonight. They could. Uniquely, they have that power. And they won't. And they're continuing to allow Ukrainians to be killed and the country to be devastated. So I don't know their motive. I can only guess. But I know that if you criticize that, they really are intent on making you be quiet.
With the
I love that. He has a way of saying things without saying things, I've noticed with Tucker. I think that's why a lot of people see him as someone who could be in politics, because that was, he's very, I don't want to say like a politician, but he knows how to answer a question. Like, he answered the question the best he could, the most he could, but didn't outright say anything to the point where the tabloids and the mainstream media would just go crazy and all the alarm bells would start ringing, right? But he did bring up the war in Ukraine. And here's the thing. If you're like Russell brought it up, if you're anti-establishment and anti-war, you're anti-mainstream. The mainstream, right now, a mainstream journalist, their job is to put the establishment on a pedestal and show it as something that can do no wrong. The same way they put, Kim Jong-un on a pedestal and make him into this godlike figure. That's exactly what the mainstream does. today for the administration. They just do. Every step of the way. That's why right now there's people who have signs that say there's no home for hate here in front of their houses, but also support the war in Ukraine. Like it's crazy to be able to pull from both sides like that. You're all accepting. You just want peace and acceptance and everybody to be taken care of, but also if Putin needs a cluster bomb thrown at him, well, let's just put billions in the pockets of Ukraine and get them some cluster bombs. Let's do it for peace and liberty, right? It's actually pretty crazy. So if you're anti-establishment and anti-war, I could see that as a reason, not just for Fox to get rid of you, but for the machine to get rid of you. No mainstream person is going to survive being anti-war when the Democrats are now pro-war, and you're going to be anti-establishment, and the Democrats are the establishment right now. No one's going to survive that. No one. There's no way. And Tucker's a perfect example of that. As much as media outlets try to brand him as far right and, very conservative, he really pulls from both sides. If he saw things, and this has happened, if he sees things happening on the right, he's even criticized Trump, he'll call it out. If he sees things happening on the left, he calls it out. It's just that right now in the world, there's way more terrible things going on within the left, within the Democratic Party, than there are on the right. It's just a fact. I mean, you could look and see very clearly. I'm sure the right would have some kind of agenda that they would push right now if they were in power, but they're not. And the agenda is clearly shown in the left. They're pushing it down our throats. They're shoving it in our faces. And if you want to be someone like Tucker, you're going to get fired from your job. But when you hear those two clips, in my opinion, and I've said this before, I think I've said this like 3 or 4 times already on this channel, I think Tucker's going to start his own company. That's the only thing left. If you don't want to work for someone, you want to stay inside the public eye as somebody who's an arbiter of truth, or a journalist, just in general, writing, whatever you want to call them, and you want to keep making money, the only thing is to start your own thing. And I think that would be wonderful, because here's the thing. Tucker made a film called Oh Canada, and it was about how communism and this tyrannical prime minister that Canada has right now has, went wild throughout the pandemic. That film is owned by Fox now. Tucker had something called Tucker Originals, and I believe that film and everything that was shot is now owned by Fox. He did an interview with, I believe, the head of security on Jan 6th. The guy who was the head of security, I believe his name is Mr. Sund. He interviewed that man, and it was supposed to be on his last episode that we never got to see. That's now owned by Fox. How many things has he done that are not owned by Fox that we'll never get to see? And I only bring that up because it's amazing to see Tucker on Twitter. It's amazing to see him on podcasts like this, but the impact that he would have doing documentaries, doing these bigger interviews like he's done with Elon Musk and various other people, seeing him in that light when he does that stuff, that's where I think he'll shine the most. That's where I think he'll have the most impact on the public. Won't be running for office, won't be sitting back and just being on Twitter all the time. It'll be those bigger things. And the only way you get to do those bigger productions, I've worked in production, I've worked in film and television, I still do. The only way you get to do that is starting your own media company. So I think that's what he's going to do, and I cannot wait for it. I think it's going to be incredible. And if I can, I'm going to throw my hat in there. I'll be a PA. I'll help him with transport. I'll hold cameras. I'll do whatever. If I could help with something like that, that'd be incredible. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, that's what we're going to see. Oh, and also, just speaking to bigger productions, I don't know if you guys saw, there was a picture on Twitter of Andrew Tate and Tucker Carlson sitting together in what I know for fact is Andrew Tate's house. So that interview's been done. I don't know when that's going to be released or if it's going to be released, but you don't fly all the way to Romania just to hang out with Andrew Tate. And Andrew Tate doesn't just fly people out to Romania for no reason. There's an interview that's been done, and I can't wait for that too. This is what I mean. He starts his own media company, and we start seeing interviews and big film projects, and it's gonna blow what we know about the mainstream media out of the water. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. But yeah, that's it. Like the video. Helps so much. You have no idea. Boosts us out of the shadow realms. We're stuck in the shadow realms right now. People are always like, you should have 100,000 subscribers. You should have 250,000 subscribers. Well, we're in the shadow realms, so they can't get to us. But every like helps us so much. Every like and share helps us tremendously. So please do that if you feel called to. And if you've watched to this point, thank you so much. Other than that, I am out.